Good morning, Taiao Manuia, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Waves. I hope you have all been having an amazing weekend. Great weekend for all of us fast supporters. We have a new government being sworn in very soon. But thank you so much for every single one of you for joining us and supporting Breaking Waves. We'd just like to give a massive thank you and shout out to our sponsors, BlueNet. If you need internet services, check out BlueNet. They have great customer care service and they care especially for Pacific clients. And we'd also like to shout out to Eveni Pacific, who has been blessing us with our clothes for the last year. And they're our store to go to when we need clothes or dresses for special occasions. Thank you to our awesome sponsors. On today's show, we have a very exciting episode coming up. I have a very special guest. As some of you may know, I'm born and raised in Hati 275, mad angry girl. Hoorah! Shout out to everyone in Mangere. You guys are the best people in the world, you know. But we have an awesome person who is coming onto our show. Her name is Vicky Hau. She is of Tongan descent. She is the manager of Mangere Town Centre. That was my dream once upon a... And this is not a lie. I used to go to the town centre all the time and I was like, man, one day I want to manage this place. So now I'm having a podcast with a person who actually manages it, which is awesome. And she's also running for the Manukau Ward Council and also the Mangere Local Board. So we're here to get to know her. Talofalava, maluelele, because I know you're Tongan. Welcome to our Breaking Waves podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you this morning?
Oh, malo. Taiao Manuia, malo le soifua, maluelele. Thank you for having me. I'm excited and I'm very, very well this morning and just really cool to come and meet you.
Thank you so much for giving us your time today so that we're able to talk about some cool things happening in Mangere. But tell us about yourself, your background, where you come from, those kinds of things.
Oh, cool, malo. Yes, my name is Vicky Hau. My parents migrated from Tonga. They came here in their 20s separately. They met here, they got married, and they've been raising their family from Ōtāhuhu over to Mangere. So I am born, raised, I live in Mangere, and I work in Mangere. I have worked in Mangere for the past 12 years. Now 13 if I count the town centre. So it's been really, really, I'm Hati Mangere. My journey also is that, you know, as migration, kids of parents who've migrated here, you've got that low socio-economic issues that follow. I've been raised in a Housing New Zealand home, but also under low-income families, And when you're growing up, you actually don't realise the struggle. Like I recently watched Maria Tutaya talk about, you know, she didn't realise that her parents were actually struggling to make ends meet because, like, you didn't see it. And while we may not have had a lot, we had a lot of love and home was safe for us. But in saying that, my parents, the biggest thing that my dad pushed us for was education. If you're going to get far in life or if you're going to do better, it had to be education. So I did all my schooling, my early years of my schooling at Kingsford Primary School, moved on to Kedgley Intermediate. My parents also work for the church, the Tokai Kolo Church, the Nasaleti, the big blue one at Coronation Road and Mangere Bridge. My parents were founders and builders of that. Of that church.
I've always thought that church was like the best. It's the best church in Mangere right now.
So there was a group of my parents' friends and families that have also, like, you know, they congregated together as a group of migrants that came here, grounded in their faith as well, and had that commonality. So they were able to purchase that land and then transform it from the house that was there into what it is today that you see as the big church, the big blue church. But then they also had to move to Tonga to work in Tonga for the church, so I also did some schooling in Tonga. So yeah, I'm very grounded in my culture. Then came back, finished off my high school years at Papatoi High.
Let's go.
Before also moving on to university. So I'm sorry, Auckland Uni, but I decided to go to Otago.
Nice,
So I went down to the Deep South, studied
Yeah.
there, did my undergrad there before returning home. And then just been working in the public sector for the past 11 years. Now and then here I am at Mangere Town Centre, and that's a little bit of my blurb and my story about me. It's really hard and specific to talk about yourself, eh?
It is.
Something we don't really do. We don't do because we're also uncomfortable about doing it, because we're told to be humble all the time, but also something we don't do enough, because that's how we can get into the spaces where our voices can be heard.
Absolutely. Tell us about what's it been like managing the Mangere Town Centre.
Been amazing, but also been a journey, eh? Like it's, I think you hit the nail on the head about earlier today in just our side conversation about, there was a lot of things that I've done in the time that I have been, because you kind of haven't seen it been rolled out before. The best thing that I love about my job is that I get to do it for the people who come in every day, right? You see the Zumbas, you see our mamas and our papas who come in every day. One thing that didn't sit right with me was I wanted to give them some nice seats. I wanted to give them a nice space to come into, When I first started, they had these black seats that were peeling, like the paint was peeling. The floors were like the rubbish. And that's and they've been my driver, is to provide a really nice space. Our mamas and papas who come every day, they deserve it. Yes, we get the likes of us who come in and do our shopping there, but if you look at the people who actually come and hang out there religiously and like Monday to Friday, it's your mamas and papas.
Absolutely, yeah. So you've been working in that space. I'm just going to be straight up, I've been born and raised in Mangere, but like the town centre has stayed the same, right? And then I went to some community consultation about 3 years ago, and I said, why isn't our town centre being, upgraded? And it doesn't have to be like a massive more, just like, nice and clean and stuff like that. And the MP who was in charge at the time said it's owned by like several different people, so making that change is quite difficult. What are your thoughts about that? Because I know it's not even for me. Like, there's people in Rewa who's like, man, our town centre stayed the same, and other suburbs as well. Could you give us a bit of insight into that? Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's one of the challenges that I do have as the town centre manager, is the structure or the makeup of the town centre. So there's areas that are council owned, so the footpath, the walkway, the car park, even the toilets, those are owned by Auckland Council. When it comes to the structure of the individual shops, those are privately owned, and they are it's privately owned by those property owners. So we don't have the jurisdiction to tell them how to. There's a lot of red tape around it. You don't have the jurisdiction to tell them how to maintain their building or how to fix it up, or even their roof. That's why there's a lot of problems with the water coming into the town centre. It's because they're all the roof that you see is all under that structure of privately owned by those owners that own those shops. To some degree, they are property investors that are also overseas. So having to track down who they are and getting them to do something, it's really hard, especially when they've been so accustomed for the last 30, maybe 40 years of just getting income coming in from their properties, that then now this girl's coming along telling them that this is what they have to do, while there's a lot of red tape around. Because, think about it, if it's your house, I can't tell you how to fix your house, or I can't tell you what to do with your house there. And I'm dealing with so many different owners without under that. What I can control, or where you've seen the changes is those areas that are owned by the council. I can make changes in those. So those are where you see the seats, the planting, the stage area. Those are also the areas that you see the activations or the events that we have. Because I'm trying to activate it more so that we can have more people come in to enjoy shows, or also give a platform for our locals as well. And even on the outside, like I said, it's owned by Auckland Transport, but there was a big issue around rubbish dumping as well a year ago. There was lots lots of articles running about illegal dumping and also putting a negative spotlight on our public for dumping a lot of rubbish there. I've managed that and I don't know if you've seen, but there hasn't been any dumping.
Oh
the
my
rubbish
gosh.
has been
yes,
managed.
next to Domino's.
Yep.
And I
Think
was
about
like,
it.
I thought about it.
As well as there's the other side, there's another
Yeah.
rubbish area where where the post shop is on that side, where the markets are.
Yeah.
So those were two key areas that had a lot of rubbish dumping. So
Crazy.
they just didn't have the right management and controls to put processes in place, which I've done.
I'm so thankful for you.
Thank you. Which they did all these articles on them. No one's come back to talk to me about a follow-up to be like,
Yeah,
hey, where's the rubbish?
exactly.
But they're happy to come and say, hey, there was rubbish here.
Just to let everyone watching know, I was one of those people that drove past like, man, what the hell is going on here? There's so much rubbish. Vicky fixed it. That's what I'm talking about, just making those moves that will help everyone that uses that space. So you're now going into local board politics. Tell us about that. Yeah. Wow. First of all, what made you want to run?
It was not on my bingo card, like 100%, even as earlier this year. If someone told me that I'll be running, I would not believe them. But the more and more I worked and every day, I started looking at the gaps and started realizing that if this is what I can do in a short amount of time with very limited resources, and I started questioning the powers that be to be like, why wasn't this actioned earlier, or why wasn't something done? Why did we wait this long for something to be done? And then I started looking around the table to think, actually, I've got the skills, I've got the qualifications, I've got the experience, and that's what pushed me to run. Because, and then the side to it is, like I've mentioned at the town centre event, historically, for our local board and also our ward councillors, there's been one political party that has had a stronghold over that. They've had that. They've had those seats. Historically, those seats have been theirs forever. Let's just say for always. And I want to break that. Because I don't believe that it should come from one political party or it should come from one group. It doesn't represent Mangere, it doesn't represent Māngere-Ōtāhuhu or even the wider Manukau Ward. We also have a younger, more diverse population. I don't see that on those boards. I don't see that young professional, that young qualified, that isn't a reflection of us in its current form. So that's why I wanted to throw my hat in the ring for it.
Very nice, very nice. And so you're also going for Manukau Ward Council. Tell us about that.
So, and then similar with the with what I've said around the local board, for natural progression, like I looked at it and I was like, actually also the councillor role as well. I'm one of those people that if we're going to go hard, go big or go home, I'm Tongan, man, we show up. We're too mawhana for everything.
Exactly.
And I just want to throw my hat in the ring and give it a go. Again, I want to look at ward councillors who represent our communities in a way that fits everyone.
Local board elections happen every 3 years, every 3 years, and there's a lot of youth who have shared concerns that they feel that members who run for these boards are very disconnected from their everyday lives, from their struggles. What would you say to young people who hold that mindset and how their voice matters in these local board elections?
I agree. So I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that just stood on the sideline, how does it matter? Why does it matter? I agree. There is a disconnect, and I definitely want to push for have better youth engagement that's compared to what it is now. When you understand the powers that be, I guess that's what the driver is, and I think that's what our young people need to understand, that there are powers that be that put these, it's almost like a chess game, so they put these people in these places and into these spaces, but man, if you understood your voice and your power and your ability to be one of those people that can knock over the king or the queen on the chessboard, 100%. So that's what I would say to people, but it's hard. I'll be honest, it is very hard to engage young people into local politics, or just politics in
It is
general.
very difficult,
hard. It's a barrier that we want to break, but how do we do that? And I think, like I said, in its current form, it's not representing the voices of young people.
Yeah.
So I hope that I can. Yeah.
I love that. So South Auckland, some would say it's been often overlooked by central government. And do you think local boards are too complacent in accepting limited resources, or do you think they often challenge the status quo of what's given to them by central governments?
So central government you're talking about is Wellington,
yeah.
Central government, and again, we're looking at local level. But if you are wanting me to ask at a central government level, I can answer that based on limited resources.
Yeah.
So I agree, we do have limited resources. We have limited resources across the country. If you think about it, where does it come from? It comes from our pockets, right? It's your taxes, it's your rates that go into these, but we're asking to roll out a massive service, or you're wanting to buy a Mercedes, but you've only got a budget of Toyota Corolla 96 or something. Or a trolley, correct. I think that we have been complacent in terms of accepting the status quo, and 100% I will be pushing for it. If I look at it from a local level, accepting the status quo or even pushing on limited resources, it's about, I've got a business degree, so I've got skills in actually taking an investment and actually maximizing it. So what little that you do have, making it, of what you do get, making it impactful. Every dollar counts, right? And every dollar that is coming to South Auckland, where is it going? And where can we see it be more impactful than most for our communities? Yes, we have limited resources. There was another, so I had this conversation with one of my friends earlier today where in Pānau, like there's these wealthy areas around Auckland, right? So in Pānau, for example, there's a park that has been donated by, playground donated by Herds, the lollies, you know? And then I look at it and I'm like, man, why can't Herds, or why can't those big companies that have the money come over here to South Auckland and donate us a park, or do something nice for us? And it's about having those right connections in order to tap into, for them to make those investments in our community, because we can't keep going to the same bucket. We can't keep taking from the same pool, because we know the pool is limited if you look at it all across Auckland. Because you want to say, okay, let's then, if the resources are limited, let's increase and let's get more resources. But that's coming out of our pockets. That means increasing rates, increasing our taxes in an already high cost of living situation where we're trying to very hard to put bread on the table and also pay our bills.
3 things that Mangere needs right now that you feel you can make a difference in if you get voted into local board?
On this trail, or even prior to that, being in at the town centre, I keep hearing from the school's young people that they want a space. There isn't a youth space in Mangere, so I would like to push for a youth hub in Mangere.
Nice.
That's 100% what I want to do. In terms, the second one is also create something that young people can also understand how local politics and also central government work. Just because after these elections, you've got central elections coming up next year. Yeah. So how can we better engage people or young people so that they can be involved and be more informed? And thirdly is my presence. Like, you know, you talk about, you said it earlier, is sometimes you vote for these people and then you don't see them. 100%. I want to be active. I want to be seen in our community. But if there's anything, look at the town centre. Like, you know, I'm not just a voice. I will advocate for Mangere. I will advocate for Manukau. I'm not just a voice. I guarantee you, I look good on paper as well, but my hands can do the work. I'm the same person who will sit in a board meeting and the same one that will come after and get the soil and start planting trees around the town centre and pick up rubbish. These hands can do them all. Yes.
And she's done it.
That's what my 3 things that I will show. Yeah. And also just to give that as Pacific, this is a different type of Pacific. You're used to the same old narrative.
Yeah.
Nah, we got to break that. Yeah.
I'm
not here for title. I'm not here. Please don't come and bow down to me. No.
Yes.
No, don't do that. What I'm here for is that I'm here for the community and here to actually give the talents, the blessings that God has given me to share with everyone else. And how can we all win and thrive together?
I love that. So, quick question. Tell me how, with your leadership, tell me how your Tongan values has influenced your leadership style.
Yes. So one of the biggest things for us is whakaapa-apa. We have these whakawē kola, 4 key values, and whakaapa-apa to me is the biggest one, just because it helps me be respectful in the spaces that I need to. Like I said, I'm really Tongan, so I can say it how it is. My mind goes, ticks a mile a minute, and I'm like, man, I really want to say this. You see my Instagram and you see some of my captions? Yes, that's me. But whakaapa-apa is the ground, the respect. But if I bring back into my leadership, someone that has really influenced my journey is Quinsa Lote. So I know, and I will just touch on this really quickly, is that people look at myself and my association with Fix, or my affiliation with Fix Auckland and also Wayne Brown, right? Because there's a lot of narrative around that. Because you're brown, you should be Labour, we should be on the left. But Fix Auckland is not a political party, we're a group of independents, but because let's be honest, you see a Palangi man and you're trying to make the math on why a Tonga girl or even Luka Samoan is aligned with Fix Auckland. Quinsa Lote, in her reign, she was very pivotal to our monarchy. We would have lost our monarchy had it not be for her leadership style, right? She had this innate ability to work with the British while still leading her country. And if I look at it, the nobles, the Tongans, they were also questioning Quinsa Lote, around what is she doing for us because of her association with the British, whereas on the other side, she was able to maintain the British, keep them at bay, but also use them so then that Tonga can grow. They never came for Tonga under her reign because they were so confident in her leadership that she was able to, one, lead her people and be Tongan to her. She was Tongan, unapologetically Tongan in every space that she was, but she knew how to work with the British, and she knew how to keep them to not come for our country or not even come colonize us, and show this innate skill of leadership. And that's what I think I bring to the table.
I got goosebumps. I can feel Quinsa Lote, just, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful, by the way. I never knew that. And I'm so glad that you shared that knowledge with us on this podcast. We can refer back to our ancestors for leadership, guys, which is awesome. And I also know, your parents were really deeply involved in building the foundation for the Tongan Church, so you must be really big on faith. Tell us about how faith influences your leadership style.
Oh, absolutely. So faith influences it because I believe that God's plan, right? Like when I talk about my bingo card earlier today, oh man, it's all God's plan, because I'm like, man, God, you work in mysterious ways, because I would not be here. I have a plan now. I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And God's like, no, actually, this is what I want you to do. I've been women in leadership, and even if I think about in the Bible, like I've just spoken on Quinsa Lote, if I think about Queen Esther, she was also called for such a time as this, and I 100% believe that God aligned me to be here right now for such a time as this, and that's what my faith is. Yeah.
Girl, I got goosebumps. And it's not even cold. Oh my gosh, I'm not lying. If you can zoom into this, you'll be able to see my goosebumps. But I'm so, so proud of you. I'm so happy to have met you and that we're able to talk. I want to come see you at your office. I'm going to be like, do you know I'm friends with the girl that's the manager of Māngere-Ōtāhuhu Centre? That's a flex, by the way. That is a major flex. Oh, that's so, so cool. But just to wrap this episode off, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your time, your knowledge, and your wisdom with us. We really appreciate sharing space with our Tongan cousins here. But what is like your final words, last thing to say on why people should vote for you in the coming elections?
Hey, I could tell you 1,000,001 things about why you should vote for me, but I'm really big on action. So please don't just take my word for it. Take the things that my hands has delivered in the last year, take that and think about if that's what I can do in 1 year, imagine what I could do with a term and at our local body election. I also want to tap into this narrative. Please do not vote for me because I'm Tongan. Please do not vote for me just because I'm brown. Vote for me because I have the qualifications, I have the work experience, and I actually have the work to show for it. Vote for me because I can do the job. And I think we don't talk about that enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Everyone, Vicky Hau, we will be attaching her Instagram socials and pages where you can get to know more about her to this episode. Check her out. Give her a message. Ask to visit her if you're really interested in politics. That's one of the things that she wants to achieve, is to make sure that we're all informed on what central government is, what local board is. And I think that's very important. It's part of why we started Breaking Waves in the first place. But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Vicky, for your time. And we'll have another episode soon when you win, right? Breaking Waves.